Hi, this is Courtney. Growing up, I had lots of hints and clues and rumors about my family history. Like a lot of people in the Chattanooga area, I was told that I had members of the Cherokee Nation in my family tree. I was told that I was related to Margaret Mitchell. I was told that I had some Irish and German in me, but there was nothing really definitive. So when we started this project, I went on Ancestry.com and tried a free trial so I could create my family tree and find out where I came from. It turns out that's a pretty slow process, although it is fascinating, and if you have the time to do it, I would recommend it. In the process of doing research, I did find a high school picture of my Nana and a World War II draft card that was my great-grandfather's, which was so incredibly cool. So I'm still not entirely sure where my ancestors came from, although when I was researching my last name, it is a Welsh name and also has Germanic roots, so those rumors that we had some German in us could be accurate, as well as some Welsh. So that's why on my map you see a question mark embroidered and also the Wales or Germany options.
This is Matthew Conant, and I'm actually one of the first Conants to move and live in Chattanooga, Tennessee. The lineage of my father's side traces back to Salem, Massachusetts, where the first Conant, Roger, had moved here from the UK and founded Salem, Massachusetts, along with Gloucester, Massachusetts, and a third town that went belly up. He was also governor of all those places, and there's a statue of him in Salem, Massachusetts. Most locals are unaware that's actually a statue of their founder because he wore several coats, and most of them suspect that he was a warlock. This was long before the witch trials had taken place in Salem, and not associated with that. On my mother's side, our lineage is mostly from the Ohio River Valley, and before that, most of my ancestors moved here from Ireland. And on both sides, there is some lineage from obviously the Netherlands and the Norway region, and some from Charlemagne as well.
Using the library's free access to census records, I found documents tracing my heritage back to Germany in the 1830s. Sometime between then and 1880, my paternal ancestor, Jazz, immigrated to Allegheny County, Pennsylvania, where the next 5 generations of my family lived since. My parents moved across the state in their 20s, and I moved to Chattanooga 5 years ago, so my map looks pretty simple.
Hello everybody, this is Thomas with my family travel map, or migration map. As you can see, most of my families come from Europe, to America. So we got from Germany to Wisconsin, and Germany to Colorado. Still have a lot of family in both states. And then we have Ireland to Ohio, which that is a family rumor. Don't know anyone in Ohio, but as the family tales go, that's where we are from.
My dad's family, they're the Sharps and the DeLucas. My dad's mother, her father immigrated from a town called Santa Agata de Puglia in Foggia, Italy, which is the eastern central part of the country of Italy. Around 1900, he came through Ellis Island and he made his way to a town called Ravenna, Ohio, which is south of Cleveland, and that's where he married my great-grandmother. My Scharf family came from Germany, and they came through New York and New Jersey, and then my grandfather and his family ended up in Ravenna, Ohio also. So that's where my grandparents met. The Scharf family we knew came from Germany, but we didn't know where until my grandfather took a DNA test before he died. And we found out that our German ancestry is actually from the region called Alsace. So they're on the border between France and Germany. And that we also have apparently some Scandinavian ancestry, which is very interesting to me because I think it tells the story of how Europe was changed by the invasions and colonization of the Vikings as they came down into Europe from the Scandinavian countries in what is commonly called the Dark Ages, I suppose, of Western European history. So then my mom's family, they're all from the same area in eastern Kentucky. It's Carter County, near Ashland, Kentucky, in the Appalachian Mountains, and they were, as far back as anybody can tell, from settlers that came in through Virginia or thereabouts in the 1700s, in some of those early settlement processes, and indentured servants and the like, and they are all Irish and Scots-Irish. So the Kegley family is my mom's dad's family, and the Justice family is my mom's family. And we think that we don't know much about them. We think that the Justice family were related to the Scots-Irish waves of immigration, which were people who the British Empire sent to Ireland, Northern Ireland, from northern parts of England and Scotland. So they were originally Scots families, but then they became Irish families, who then became American families. And the Kegleys and the Justice families are all there. A lot of them are still there. You can go and find them all in the same graveyards and the same towns that they have been in. It was my grandmother's mother left the mountains to become a nurse in the end of the 1930s and the end of the Depression before World War II, so she could have a better life for her family. And so I come from mountain people on one side and European immigrants at the turn of the 19th century on the other side. One of the reasons I really like this project is because I think that each family's journey tells a story, an epic story of people leaving one part of the world to come to this country at whatever stage they arrived at this country, and however they arrived at this country, whether they were brought here by force or whether they chose to immigrate here. And one of the things that I think is so amazing about that is that every family story is this large, epic family story of countries and nationalities, and the way that cultures can be transplanted from one place to another. And your family story, you may not know the full family story of how all of the branches of your family tree ended up creating you, but you can make some guesses. And so even if you don't know the full story of your family and your family's name, you can make some guesses based on what we know about history. So if your family is from Ireland and your last name is Irish and your family may be from Ireland, there's a good chance that they came over in the early to mid 1800s, when the potato famine when the potato famine caused lots of Irish people to leave Ireland to come to the United States to try to survive. And it's the same with different Western European countries throughout the history of the United States. But if your family is, say your last name is Chinese, it could have been that your family came over when the railroad was expanding, and maybe that's how you have had many generations in the United States. So there's a lot to be learned about how the country of origin of your surname relates to the larger picture of American history and world history.